1-800-TAP-GOLD, TAPGOLD. Susan in Washington, hello.
Hello. I just kind of wanted to make a comment. I really believe in gold, and I believe in what you're doing, but I don't think there's any way that the average person is going to be able to survive what's coming to us. I mean, we're talking about, from what I've read, like derivatives that aren't covered and naked swaps or interest swaps.
Yeah,
I mean,
credit swaps.
It's too humongous. I mean, how are we ever going to survive that? If it's what it's saying in papers and in stories I read are true, maybe even with gold, I mean, how much gold can the average person accumulate? You know?
The average person has none. The average person has absolutely none. And what is going to happen is that the average person is going to have probably a very unpleasant period ahead, and more than likely the standard of living of a lot of people is going to decline. Already we are seeing, massive defaults on mortgages. So if somebody loses their home, their standard of living declines, right? We now see unpaid credit cards jumping, the delinquencies on credit cards, apparently the highest in history. And they're $17 billion worth of credit card debt that's probably uncollectible at this point. And this has been securitized also into these SIVs, a structured investment vehicle. So, there are going to be some difficult times ahead. And I'm not suggesting that gold is the panacea for that it can fix. It's not. We'll all suffer some, but there's an old saying that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So those of us who have some gold will preserve some wealth, no matter what else happens.
But we're talking about years before we recover.
Oh yeah.
And I can't see. Just imagine millions of people without any income and no job. It's not going to be pleasant out there.
Well, at least they will get unemployment benefits, and they will be eligible for welfare. And as our government collapses, as our financial system collapses. So
that's what I'm seeing. I don't know. You're much wiser than I am. You don't see that, correct?
Don't see what?
Collapse of the government.
Unfortunately, I think that what will happen is that if financial conditions get bad enough, this Patriot Act will be wielded on a much broader scale, and it'll be used to keep the people under control.
I think you're right.
Because I think that the economic situation is going to make a lot of people very unhappy, and when they're very unhappy, they start protesting. So I don't know what will happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but I am nervous about the future. I'm nervous for my kids and my grandkids, much more than for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that we're just going to have to try to stay on top of. I encourage people to be involved in the political process because none of the mainstream candidates are even talking about these issues.
And they never ask them in any of the programs. So they never mention the word immigration or what the government is doing for big banks, and they don't seem to care. So.
Well, this is Ron Paul really kind of said it best. He said that the country is moving towards fascism, which is something that I've talked about. But it's not like a Hitler fascism. This is a different form of fascism where the corporation, it's a country run by corporations for the benefit of corporations. And the rule of law gets subverted to the benefit of the corporations. Here we are. Who would have ever thought that we could have fraud on such a massive basis throughout the entire financial system? It's unprecedented.
And people don't think it's going to touch them, evidently.
Well, I guess not. But, do the people ever know what's going to happen to them? No, they never do.
I think that a lot of people do, right. But it's frustrating because you never get an answer from your representative, so they do give up. I've written since, for many years, and I never really get an answer to one question. It's just an overall question.
I do the same thing, and I get the same kind of canned response that you get. But if at some point, I think that the young people are waking up to this. That's why we're seeing so much support for a return to constitutional government. Because it's coming from young people, not from folks my age or even your age. It's coming from the young people who are beginning to understand what's going on and realize that if they don't start doing something now, that this country is going to change dramatically for the worse. So they may be a day late and a dollar short, but at least they're beginning to wake up to the realities of what are going on. Unfortunately, their parents aren't. Unfortunately, their parents keep spending like there's no tomorrow, keep going further into debt. Don't own any gold. They stick with the stock market, which is, if we have, I'm not saying we're going to, but if we have an increasing crisis, the stock market is not going to do very well. I mean, we've got this article warning us, and it's not coming from me. I mean, this is coming from Ambrose Evans Pritchard from the Financial Times in London, a prominent newspaper. He says this crisis could make 19...
is saying it.
I beg your pardon?
Bank of International Settlements is even saying
you're right.
Things along that line.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So, you probably already own gold. You probably are already protected. But to the extent that we can spread the word to others, I think that it's important that each person evaluate for themselves what is appropriate for them. I don't suppose to tell people what to do. What I try to do is to encourage people to call in and get the free information so that they can see a different view of what's going on in the world around us, a view that is held by the top analysts at the major banks and brokerage firms. But they don't tell John Q. public working men and women this stuff. So,
what I resent is that government always saves them, but they don't save the people. And this is why I think it's heartbreaking to realize that what may come to be, and it'll be heartbreaking.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. All we can do is the best that we can, and do the best for ourselves, our families, our friends, and try to muddle through a difficult time. And I think that many of us will. Please hang on for a free coin. The number to call 1-800-TAP-GOLD, TAPGOLD. That's 1-800-TAP-GOLD. That's 1-800-TAPGOLD. Lewis in Iowa. Hello.
Yes, hello, Joe. Glad to hear you on the radio here in southern Iowa. Appreciate your program very much, but what are banks paying on savings in California? We have a savings account that only pays 0.75%. Yeah,
I think that they're paying about the same here. They have some of these teaser rates to get you to put deposits in there that maybe go up, on 2-year or 5-year deposits might go up a little over 4%. But I know that I've got my money in a money market fund that's paying 0.7%. I've got some money in there. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
It certainly is, Joe. Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, my friend. Please hang on. I'd love to give you a free coin. Before I let you go, let me ask you, are you concerned about the potential, about this banking crisis that's unfolding before our very eyes?
We certainly are, and we're glad you're around Paul's supporter. We certainly are, too. He's the only hope for our presidency.
Yeah. But, I watch TV, and these talk show deals, they talk about every other candidate. They don't give him much credence at all. They will not give him enough press to move forward.
Very little press here in Iowa, but he is running some ads on the radio.
Well, they don't want somebody who believes in constitutional government and balanced budgets and things like that. They don't want that.
That's right, Joe. It's a terrible situation.
If we do have a financial crisis that is the likes of 1929, do you think that the people of America will take that sitting down, or do you think that will really anger people?
I think most Americans are like lemmings.
Just go along with it and put up with it. Not even speak out against it. My friend, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Let me give you a free coin. Thank you for your kind words. Happy New Year to you. Folks,